In this lecture, we will try to understand a very important concept in Java programming language, that is method overloading. What is this method overloading? First, let me explain theory behind this method overloading. Then we will try to understand program on method overloading. This is also known as static polymorphism. Static polymorphism. What is this static polymorphism? We will try to understand. Time being, let me say this overloading, or I can say method overloading, is a concept which is supported by Java programming language. In method overloading, what happens? In method overloading, two or more methods. In method overloading, two or more methods have same name. Methods have same name. We will try to demonstrate with a simple program. Time being, just understand, in method overloading, two or more methods have the same name but with different parameters. That you must understand. But with different parameters. Isn't it? Parameters, I can say arguments. Method overloading is used when objects are required to perform similar tasks but by using different input parameters. When a method by an object is called, how can I call a method? I can call a method with the help of object. How will it be? We will try to understand after few seconds. Just time being, understand, I can call a method with the help of object. Java matches, when I call a method with the help of object, what happens? Java matches up the method name first. First it will match. First it will check. Which one will it check? It will check whether this method is matching or not. It matches up. Let me say otherwise. Java matches up the method name first. First it will check method name first. Then after checking method name, then what will it check? It will check number and type of arguments. It will check number of arguments it will check. Then what will it check? It will check type of arguments. It will check whether it is integer type argument, whether it is float type arguments. Of course, it will also check order of arguments. This you must understand. First it will check the method name. That is, first it will check for the match, whether that method name matches or not. Then what will it check? It will check number of arguments. How many arguments? 2 or 3 or 4, like that. Then it will check for type of argument. Type of arguments, int, float, char, something like that. How will it be? We will try to understand how it execute. That, let me repeat, the number and data type of parameters to decide which one of the overloaded method to execute. That is, compiler decides which method is to be called. Who will decide which method is to be called? This point is very, very, very important. Who will decide? Compiler decides which method is to be called. Which method is to be called. I will demonstrate with the help of simple program. Time being, just understand, a method will be called depending on its name, depending on number of arguments, depending on type of arguments, depending on order of arguments. A method will be called. Who will call compiler decides which method is to be called. As I told you in my previous lecture, if something happens at compile time, that is known as static, isn't it? If something happens at runtime, that is known as dynamic. This is why people are calling it as polymorphism. I will explain after a few lectures. Time being, just understand, a method will be called by compiler at compile time, depending on its name, depending on its number of arguments, depending on its type of arguments, depending on order of arguments. Who will call? As I told you, who will call? It will be called by the compiler. Overloaded methods can be created by providing several different method definitions in the class. I can define several methods. How can I create? We'll try to understand. Let me repeat. Overload method can be created by providing several different method definitions in the class, all with the same name. That you must understand. In method overloading, all methods will have same name. All methods will have same name. That is important. But where is the difference? But the different parameter, but same name, but the different parameter list, I can say, isn't it? But with the different parameters. Name is same. Parameter list, isn't it? Yes, the difference may be either be in the number or type of arguments. They have same name. All methods will have same name, but they differ in terms of number of arguments, type of arguments, order of arguments. Thus, each parameter list should be unique. They must be unique in terms of parameter list, but they must have same name. Again, I am repeating. In the what is method overloading? What is our static poly? Why it is called static polymorphism? As I told you, if something happens at compile time, that is known as static. If something happen at runtime, that is known as dynamic. A method will be called by compiler as it is performed by compiler. I can call it as static. Compiler will decide which method has to be called. There may be different methods. As I told you, we will have all methods name is same name. If you keep 100 methods in class, in the context of method overloading, they must have same name. I'm repeatedly saying they must have same name. They must have same name, but they differ in terms of number of arguments, in terms of type of arguments, in terms of order of arguments. How it works, we will try to understand with the help of simple program. Just see, this simple program. This program we can understand what is method overloading with the help of this simple program. Just see, what am I saying? As I told you in my previous classes, what is my class? Class is a keyword which is used to define my class name. Here I am defining a class name overload demo. Here whichever name you want you can keep. If you want you can keep Kukatpalli. If you want you can keep Boinpalli, Vivekanand Nagar. Whichever name you want you can keep. Just for my understanding or for my convenience, I'm declaring or defining this class name as overload demo. If you observe this class name, how many letters are there? Over is one. Sorry, how many words are there? Over is one word, load is another word, demo is another word. Each word is starting with capital letter. That's what naming convention says. As I am repeatedly saying, if you are not interested, you need not follow naming conventions. This concept is known as method overloading, or I can say it is known as static polymorphism. Isn't it? This one is beginning of the class, isn't it? What is method overloading? What is static polymorphism? What we were saying, it must have same name. Void test. What is the name of this method? Name of this method is test. Void test. What is the name of this method? Test. Just otherwise, let me write like this. Yes, this is test. This name of the method 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 is test. How many methods are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 methods with the same name. That's what I am discussing in theory. In the context of method overloading or static polymorphism, they must have same name. They differ in terms of parameter list. They differ in terms of arguments. They differ in terms of number of arguments, type of arguments, order of arguments. Just see this one. Here I don't have any arguments here as it is empty parenthesis. Here I have one integer argument. Here I have one double argument. Here I have 2 integer arguments. What does it mean? They are unique. All these methods are unique in terms of number of arguments, or in terms of type of arguments, or in terms of order of arguments. But if you observe carefully, they have got same name. All methods name is same. But they differ. They are differing in terms of parameter list. As this program is so simple, as we know what is system.out.println, just I am keeping a message, no parameter, just blindly it will print this particular message. What is this? This is int x is. What is this int x is? It's a message as I am keeping in double quotes. What is x? This is x is variable. If I pass something to this x, that will be printed. In similar manner, double x is message as it is in double quotes, and this whichever number I pass to this particular variable, that will be printed here. In similar manner, int x and y are this is a message for which I am appending x value. This is variable and is message as it is kept in double quotes, and y is variable. How it works, we will try to understand. As it is, where can I create objects? I must create object in main method, isn't it? Therefore, what is my main method? Public static void main string args, isn't it? Now, what am I doing? I am creating an object. What is the syntax for creating object in Java programming language? This is my class name. Overload demo is my class name. Space O is, this is my class name. Syntax is class name space, this one is object name. Class name space object name. New is a keyword. I already discussed what is new keyword in my previous lecture. It allocates memory for newly created object, and class name and parenthesis I must write like this. Is a part of syntax. Of course, whichever name you want, you can keep here. Instead of O, if you want, you can write some name Preeti. If you want, you can write Preeti. If you want, you can write Sri Kiran. If you want, you can write Kukatpalli. Whichever name you want, you can write. That is the object. It doesn't matter, isn't it? For simplicity, I am writing object name as O. As I told you in today's lecture, how can I call a method? What is a method? Test is a method. How can I call a method? I can call this method by using object. That one must understand. How can I call a method? To call this method, to call these methods, I need object. Therefore, all these methods are available in a class known as Overload Demo. I have to create object for this class so that I can call methods. How can I call a method? First, I must identify this method is in which class is it available. You have to create object for that class. Yes, all these methods are available in a class known as Overload Demo. Therefore, I have to create an object for this particular class. I created an object for this particular class. Now, what is the procedure to call these methods? Object name. Just always understand. Object name dot method name. Object name dot method name. This is syntax. Therefore, O is object name. Test is method name. Just always understand. How can I call? Of course, there are different ways of calling particular method. I will explain. Time being, just understand. How can I call a method? Object name dot method. Here my object name is O. O dot test. O dot test means where will it go? I will show you output first. Just see. O dot test means what happens. We will try to understand what happens for O dot test. O dot test means automatically, if automatically control will go here. What will it display? It will display no parameters. Just see in output screen. You have no parameters here. O dot test of 100. O dot test of 100 means how many test methods are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. What I told you, compiler will decide. What will it decide? There are 4 tests. First, which one will it match? It will match method name. That's what it will match up the method name. First it will check, yes, test is a method. Then which one will it match? It will match type of arguments. What is this 100? 100 is an integer number. It will check for integer argument. Yes, test is matched, but it is not having any integer arguments. Yes, this test name is matched. Here we are passing 100. Therefore, name is matched. Even argument, type of argument is also matched. O dot test of 100 means your control will go here. In the place of x, as it is integer variable, 100 will be copied. Therefore, int x is, a message will be displayed for which x will be appended. X is 100. Int x is 100. Just see, this particular message will get displayed. O dot test of 100.5. As I told you, by default in my previous lectures, if you keep 10.5, 11.5, something like that, by default it is double, isn't it? Test is a method. Again, it will check for the match. It will check for the test method with which argument, with double arguments. Yes, this is a test method which is having double argument. In such case, control will go here. This 100.5 will be copied here. Double x is, it's a message for which 100.5 will be appended. Therefore, double x is 100.5, isn't it? Next, where will I go? O dot test of 100 comma 200. In x, 100 will be copied. In y, 200 will be copied. In output screen, what will it display? Int x and y, or it will display for which x will be appended. X means 100. For which end will be appended. For which y will be appended. Y is 200. Isn't it? Just relate, just correlate theory. Whatever theory we were discussing in previous slide, just try to correlate that theory with this program. This one is simple and straightforward program. Just understand this program. This is class beginning. This one is class ending. This is public static void main beginning. This is public static void main ending. This is test beginning, test ending. This is beginning, ending. This is beginning, ending. So that you can understand, as I told you repeatedly, who will decide which method has to be called. Who will decide? Who will decide? Compiler. Who will decide? Compiler will decide which method is to be called depending on its name and number of arguments, order of arguments, type of arguments. As this task is performed at compile time, this is known as I told you repeatedly, if something happened in computer science, we used to call as static. Therefore, this is known as static polymorphism, or I can say it is method overloading or static polymorphism. What is polymorphism? It's a theoretical concept I will discuss after few lectures. Let me complete few programs, then I will discuss about theory. Timing, just go through it. If you have any difficulty, please keep a comment. Thank you very much.